the great pipes groan with the weight of ancient stone, inhaling the dust of centuries to exhale the breath of the living word. Under the vaulted ribs of the nave, the diapason swells, a thundering heartbeat that precedes the first footfall of the faithful. It is the melody of Bunison, a tune forged in the mist of the Hebrides, rising now like a slow-burning sun over the granite altar. The organist pulls the stops of history, and the music becomes a physical architecture, a sanctuary made of air and vibration, where the spirit may finally unbuckle its heavy armor. Here, the silence is not an absence, but a preparation, a clearing of the inner thicket, so that the word may walk among the trees of our thoughts. Christ be the compass when the needle of the soul spins wildly in the magnetic storm of the world beside me. He is the unyielding wall of diamond that deflects the arrows of the noonday devil before me. He is the pillar of cloud that makes a path through the trackless desert of the mundane. The choir begins its ascent, their voices weaving a tapestry of polyphonic certainty, layering the air with the scent of frankincense and the texture of worn velvet. Each syllable of the lorica is a stitch in a celestial breastplate, binding the heart to the heart of the Trinity. There is no space where he is not, for the music proves that even the gaps between the notes are filled with his intentional grace. In the mouth of the stranger, Christ is the sudden warmth of an unexpected welcome. In the eye of the friend, he is the light that does not flicker when the shadows grow long. The hymn moves with a pastoral rhythm, a gentle swaying of wheat in a sanctified wind, yet it carries the weight of a mountain. To sing Bunison is to acknowledge the morning of the world, the primal moment when the Creator first hummed the universe into being. The choir's unison is a declaration of singular purpose, a gathered strength that says, we are not orphans of the stars, but children of a Father who walks the dusty roads of our daily failures. Beneath the soles of my feet, Christ is the bedrock that does not crumble when the floods of sorrow rise to the chin. Above me, he is the vaulted sky, the limit of my ambition and the floor of my ultimate hope. The organ's pedal tones vibrate in the marrow of the bone, reminding the flesh that it was made from the red clay of the earth and destined for the golden light of the resurrection. There is a sacred geometry in this protection. It is a circle that excludes nothing but fear, a boundary that marks the soul as the sovereign territory of the King. The melody repeats, circling the altar of the mind, refining the will until the self is but a transparent window for the eternal light to pass through. As the final stanza gathers its breath, the choir expands into a glorious dissonance that resolves into a peace passing all understanding. Christ be in my sleeping, Christ constant rhythm of a heart that has found its home. The last chord of the organ does not truly end. It merely retreats into the stones of the cathedral, a latent dissonance that will hum within the silence of the week to come. The lyrics remain etched upon the inner eyelid, a vision of a savior who is both the shield on the arm and the path under the feet. When the doors swing open to the glare of the streets, we carry the bonus and the dawn within us, a secret armor of song that no clamor of the city can ever truly pierce.
The basalt dunes are singing under the weight of a copper sun, where the hermit stands alone against the horizon of his own desires. There is a vibration in the marrow of the earth, a low hum of tectonic devotion that begins where the silence of the world ends. Antony, son of the red dust and the white fire, walks the labyrinth of the scorched valleys with eyes fixed on a throne made of uncreated light. This is not the quiet prayer of the cloisters, but a roar that shatters the porcelain illusions of the flesh, a rhythmic pounding of the heart against the ribs of the universe. The sand is a grindstone sharpening the blade of his will, and every step is a power chord struck against the granite floor of the abyss. He carries no staff but the lightning bolt of a conviction that has outlived the dynasties of men and the vanity of the stars. The air thickens with the scent of ozone and ancient incense as the sky turns the color of a bruised violet, waiting for the spark. You can hear the crackle of the spirit catching flame in the dry brush of the human soul, a wildfire that does not consume but clarifies. It is the rock-hewn anthem of a man who found the world too small for the hunger in his breast, who traded the silk of the court for the rough canvas of the infinite. The demons howl in the canyons, their voices like rusted saws against the silk of the night. But he stands immovable as a mountain of obsidian. He is the hammer that strikes the anvil of the divine, forging a key that fits no lock, made by human hands, seeking the lost pieces of a broken divinity scattered in the ruins of the fall. Listen to the feedback of the heavens as the celestial choir turns into a wall of sound, a distortion of glory that vibrates through the very foundations of the temple. The fire is not a metaphor, but a living entity, a tongue of flame that licks the wounds of the weary and burns away the dross of the mundane. He calls to the lost, not to those who have misplaced their silver, but to those who have misplaced their very essence in the fog of the modern dream. Find the rhythm in the pulse of the wounded. Find the melody in the cry of the seeker. For Antony is the patron of the rediscovered spark. He stands at the crossroads of time and eternity, a conductor of the high voltage currents of grace that flow from the heart of the Father into the veins of the thirsty. The anthem rises like a pillar of smoke in the desert, visible from the towers of the city, where the neon lights try to mimic the stars. It is a song of iron and honey, of grit and glory, a testament written in the calligraphy of scars and starlight. The fire climbs the spine of the world, igniting the cold altars of the indifferent, until the whole earth glows like a furnace at the midnight hour. There is no middle ground in this conflagration, no lukewarm peace, only the ecstatic agony of becoming something more than dust. The rock vibrates under the feet of the faithful, steady floor on the floor beat that echoes the percussion of the Creator's own intent. In the white heat of this encounter, the names of things are forgotten and only the verb remains, echoing through the canyons of the mind like a thunderclap that never fades. Antony is the sentinel of the burning bush, the one who realized that to find everything, one must first lose the illusion of the self. The flame grows taller than the mountains, a beacon for the shipwrecked souls tossing on the black waves of the century. It is the love that demands the whole person, the fire that requires the entire forest to be truly seen. Amen is the final chord, a resonant, low-frequency boom that settles into the earth, shaking the dust from the tombs and waking the sleepers to the dawn of a day that has no sunset. The anthem concludes not in silence, but in a ringing frequency that stays in the ears of the world forever, a persistent ghost of the divine fire that refuses to be extinguished. The amber light of 7 o'clock descends through the clerestory glass, casting long and leaning shadows across the well-worn oak of the pews, where the faithful gather in the hushed gravity of the Lord's day's end. There is a specific scent to this hour, a mixture of extinguished beeswax, the faint metallic tang of the thuribal's lingering ghost, and the damp wool of coats worn by those who seek a final sanctuary before the secular week begins its relentless march. The choir stands in the loft, their breath a collective petition, preparing to weave the melodies of Magargil and the ancient echoes of the servant's heart into a tapestry that's the silence of the sanctuary with the noise of the world outside. Here, the rosary is not merely a string of beads, but a rhythmic pulse, a tactile map of sorrows and glories that we trace with calloused thumbs, seeking the mother's hand in the gathering twilight of the nave. Will you permit the bending of the knee to be more than a ritual motion, a true descent into the dust where the feet of the weary rest heavy with the grime of the road? In this late hour, the Sunday 7 p.m. choir sings not for the applause of the crowd, but for the solace of the broken, their voices lifting the heavy weight of the servant's song, as if it were a shared mantle of indigo silk. We are pilgrims of the evening, travelers who find our home in the cadence of a brother's voice and the steady resonance of a sister's prayer, understanding that to lead is to follow, and to possess is to surrender everything at the foot of the cross. The music
music swells, rising like incense toward the vaulted ceiling, carrying the names of the forgotten and the burdens of the heavy laden into the heart of the immaculate who stood beneath the wood of sacrifice with a silent, piercing grace.
Between the decades of the rosary, the silence breathes, a profound and hollow space, where the spirit of Mary's fiat takes root in the marrow of our bones, asking if we too can say yes to the unknown and the arduous. The hymn is over the chasm of our own selfishness, a structural grace that demands we look into the eyes of the stranger and see the reflection of the Christ who washed the feet of those who would soon desert him. It is a song of radical hospitality, a liturgical embrace that defies the cold indifference of the city streets, murmuring just beyond the heavy bronze doors of the narthex.
We sing of being the light for one another, not a blinding glare of judgment, but the soft, flickering glow of a votive candle that guides a stumbling footstep through the thicket of a Tuesday's despair or a Wednesday's loneliness.
The 7 p.m. choir understands the exhaustion of the labor and the quiet desperation of the seeker, for they too have navigated the complexities of the passing week and bring their fatigue as an offering to the altar. Their harmony is an architecture of mercy, built note by note upon the foundation of McGargill's vision, where the servant is the master of love and the master is the servant of all. Each word of the lyrics is a seed planted in the fertile dark of the Sabbath evening, watered by the tears of the penitent and warmed by the communal fire of the Eucharist. We are weaving our lives into the mysteries of the Rosary, finding our own trials in the Garden of Gethsemane and our own small triumphs in the light of the resurrection, all while the clock ticks toward the midnight that marks the end of our rest.
Let the melody be a balm for the spirit that has forgotten how to weep, a gentle rain that softens the parched earth of a heart hardened by the cynicism of the age, as the final verses of the servant's song rise to meet the shadows of the choir loft. There is a sense of a circle closing, a holy enclosure, where the Marian devotion of the Rosary meets the active ministry of the disciple.
We are being sent forth, not as individuals isolated in our own concerns, but as a body knitted together by the recurring themes of grace in the shared breath of this late-night liturgy.
The incense has faded, the candles are trimmed to their wicks, and the silence returns to the stone walls, but the song remains an indelible mark upon the soul that whispers of the beauty found in serving, the strength found in kneeling, and the peace found in the shadow of the Mother of Sorrows. Beneath the gaze of the stained glass saints, the choir descends the narrow stairs, the sheet music tucked away like hidden treasures, while the last echoes of the Sunday hymn vibrate in the cooling air of the cathedral.
This is the hour of transition, where the sacred and the mundane collide, and the servant's promise must be lived out in the marketplace and the home.
The Rosary's rhythm stays in the pulse, a drumbeat of Ave that sustains the spirit when the music stops and the lights are finally dimmed.
We walk out into the cool night air, transformed by the gravity of the 7 p.m. prayer, carrying the quiet majesty of the Catholic hymn into the dark. The hollowed stone of Cana stands in silent rows of 6, waiting for the weight of the deluge that sanctifies the ordinary. While the desert stars of Galilee retreat before the violet brush of a dawn that tastes of salt and promise. We have watched through the long vigil of the centuries, our hands calloused by the dry ropes of empty cisterns, leaning our ears against the parched earth to hear the subterranean pulse of a grace we could not yet name. The air is thick with the scent of crushed mint and the expectation of a bridegroom who walks with the quiet gravity of the mountains. Yet in our hearts, the prophecy of Isaiah hums like a low-toned bell, vibrating through the marrow of Zion. Behold, God is my salvation. I will trust and not be afraid. For the Lord is my strength and my song, and the echoes of his footsteps turn the dust of our waiting into a floor of sapphire and gold. We gather now as a choir of the thirsty, our voices layering like the rising tides of a secret sea, following the cadence of a new melody that ripples through the assembly. There is a rustle of linen and the heavy sliding of lids as the servants lean into the labor of the hour, pouring the clear, cold essence of the earth into the bellies of the jars. It is the water of the vigil, the water of the long trek through the wilderness, the water that washed the feet of the patriarchs and mirrored the face of the moon in the wells of Beersheba. But here, beneath the shadow of the wedding canopy, the water begins to tremble with an interior light, a blush that spreads through the liquid silence as the word leans over the rim of the world. We shall draw water joyfully from the wells of salvation, not as those who snatch at a passing cloud, but as those who have found the unquenchable spring hidden in the heart of the living God. Listen to the polyphony of the pouring, the liquid percussion that signals the end of the drought of the Spirit, where every drop carries the weight of a covenant renewed in the crimson glow of the vine. The master of the feast does not know the geography of this miracle, but we who have stood the watch, we who have felt the dryness of the throat in the midnight of the soul, we recognize the vintage of the Most High. This is the wine of the New Jerusalem, distilled from the tears of the prophets and the obedience of the Virgin, who whispered the command that unlocked the heavens. Fill them to the brim, he says, and in that fullness we find the measure of a love that knows no boundary, a grace that overflows the stone and spills onto the dusty floor, to turn the very earth into a sanctuary of celebration.
The melody shifts, rising from the deep resonance of the bass to the crystalline heights of the soprano, mimicking the ascent of the soul from the depths of the cistern to the joy of the banquet table. Sing to the Lord, for he has done glorious things. Let this be known throughout all the earth, from the white peaks of Hermon to the burning sands of the south. In the vigil of our lives, we have often mistaken the silence for absence, yet here in the clinking of the cups and the laughter of the guests, we see that the silence was merely the enjoying of a breath before the great shout of the kingdom. The water that once only cleansed now gladdens the heart of man, a transformation that mirrors our own crossing from the shadow of the law into the sunlight of the feast. Great in our midst is the Holy One of Israel, not as a distant thunder, but as the guest who brings the best for last, the one who honors the poverty of our jars with the wealth of his blood. We lift our vessels high, no longer heavy with the burden of the law, but light with the effervescence of the Spirit, drawing from the wells of Isaiah with the hands of the apostles. The vigil is ended, the bridegroom has spoken, and the water has remembered its creator and blushed in his presence. Let the choir of the redeemed proclaim the splendor of this hour, where the common and the divine have kissed, and where the joy we draw today shall flow into an eternal river that knows no ebbing, forever fresh, forever deep, forever new.
Within the hollow chambers of the restless breast, where shadows lengthen against the architecture of the soul, a soft vibration stirs, a summons from the architect of the morning. Let not the masonry of your heart crumble beneath the weight of worldly tremors, for the foundations are set in a soil that does not shift. The high priest of the Paschal dawn stands at the threshold of the uncreated light, whispering of mansions not hewn by human hands, but woven from the very breath of the eternal. There is a geometry of grace in the Father's house, an infinite sequence of rooms where every sigh finds its resolution, and every exile discovers a native tongue. We are but pilgrims treading the dust of our own questions, seeking a map in a landscape of shifting dunes. Yet the way is not a route etched in parchment, but a person walking beside the weary. Behold the cornerstones of the New Jerusalem, where the living stones are gathered by the misery of mercy. You ask for the itinerary of the Spirit, seeking a compass to navigate the labyrinth of the temporal. But the truth is a mirror, reflecting the face of the unseen. To see the Son is to witness the Father's gaze, a luminescence that pierces the veil of the sanctuary. No longer do we wander in the penumbra of the law, for the life has become our heartbeat, the very oxygen of our resurrection. In this fifth movement of the Easter tide, the tomb is not merely empty, it has become the doorway to 1,000 hallways of glory.